We'll record this session so that we can share it with everyone after. Cool. All right, my name's Kara. I'm the Executive Director of Gallup MainStreet, and we are really excited to be hosting a holiday marketing workshop during what we know is a tough and weird year. And very excited to have Raquel here, who's going to be presenting today and leading the workshop. Raquel's actually been working with us on a few really exciting things, including our holiday gift guide, which I know she'll mention. There'll also be a handout in the chat and probably a few links as well. And then we can also send the handout to folks after this session is over. But I know that there's some really great stuff Raquel is going to cover today that's going to be super useful for the holidays and beyond the holidays. So Raquel, I will let you take it over.
Thank you, Kara. Yeah, so just a quick intro for about myself. I've been doing social media marketing for going on 4 years now. I've worked with nonprofits before. I've worked with different influencers and just I really love it, especially recently this year. Um, I love working with small businesses because honestly, this is like the best free way to get your name and stuff out there. And so I'm hoping this will be really helpful for anybody who's tuning in today. So we're going to kind of start with this program that is called Canva. And so a lot of what we're going to be talking about is going to be using and talking about this program, mostly because it is super duper helpful. It's, you know, everything you'd want in being able to design if you can't do it yourself. And so the website is called canva.com. I'm going to log out quick just so that you can see what it looks like when you first sign in. So this is kind of what it's going to look like. There's the chance for you to have a free account. You don't have to pay for it. However, if you want access to some extra goodies, you can always pay. I think it's about like $3 or $4 a month. It's pretty inexpensive, but you can use the free one, and the free one is super. You have a lot of access to different stuff as well. So when you go on here, you're gonna see that you have a lot that you can do with it. But what you want to be able to start is just being able to create um, tiles, being able to create different things that are in the size of basically like an Instagram post or a square, because that shows well for both your Facebook and your Instagram. And so the hope is that you can use um, this for to cross post for both. So you're going to create a design and you'll click Instagram post. Now, we're going to kind of interweave this idea with what I want to talk about as well, with the handout that Kara's putting in the chat, as well as um with what she'll be sending out later if you are watching this later. It's basically a sheet that you can fill out, and we're going to kind of fill it out while we are using the um, Canva, as well as while I'm kind of talking through this. So hello to to those of you who are just joining us now. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining. So
Raquel, 1 second, I'll have that PDF in the chat. I don't know.
okay.
I saved it and I can't find it. It'll be just 1 sec. Okay, we've got it in the chat now, so everyone should be able to access the PDF that you're seeing on the screen, on Raquel's screen there.
Awesome. So yeah, this is something that you can basically use over and over. You don't have to use it just for December. I have it listed for that here, but even especially going into a new year, going into January, you can follow this pattern over and over, which is kind of great. But of course, we're focusing on the holidays for now because that's what's the biggest, of course, marketing event that we have recently. So before you start with actually going to Canva, which we'll kind of explore more, just a heads up, I actually made this on Canva, which is kind of just to show, to say, Canva's amazing. You can do pretty much anything on there, and it's super user friendly. So the first step that you want to take when you're working with stuff like this is you want to fill your calendar. And so think about significant days for this month. Um, and of course, although there are religious holidays, you can also think of holidays that just, or seasons that you know that people just will be shopping a lot for. So of course, the big ones that we know are, oh, my pen is very thin right now, is the 24th and 25th, because we know that's Christmas Eve and Christmas time. And so we want to be able to target those days. We also know that the 31st would probably be a big day because that would be New Year's Eve. A day that just recently passed was this week actually, which is the the remembering the attack on Pearl Harbor. And so there's different dates. If you even wanted to do a quick Google search, you can find different dates, and that kind of gives you the answer for content. And so a lot of the times what happens with small businesses that I talk to is they say, well, I just don't know what to post. And so once you create your calendar, once you decide, okay, I can post this on a weekly basis, or I can kind of think of what I can post, then you can start doing that over and over and over again. So you're just going to kind of fill up some of these days. And you can even choose like just regular days of the week that you're like, I can post something kind of every day. And so one of the things that kind of always happens for Sundays, there's a hashtag that is called Small Business Sunday. And so you could even decide, okay, well, every Sunday, I am going to post something that's related to small business. So once you think of all the days that are significant, then you start thinking of those 3 to 4 posts that you can recreate every single week. Place your calendar somewhere where you and your team can see it. So what kind of content can you do? So this is what those questions are here. What are some important days you want to highlight? We kind of did some of those here. If you want to take some time to find those, then you can definitely do those as well. And then you want to brainstorm, what kind of content can you post repetitively? So here are some pretty basic things that you can do. You can have about me days, which is the beauty of small business. You get to not just sell people your stuff, the things that you're selling, but you can also sell the things that talk about you. And so when people learn about who you are, they become more interested in your business because you're no longer just a business, you're also a person. You can also do specials days or highlights days where you kind of talk about like what you are offering. Something that has become very popular on, I would say, both Facebook and Instagram actually is quotes. And so if there are quotes that really speak life to you, that just really empower you, those are things that people share, and those are things that will make you be able to get your business out there, because the more people see that quote, some people might go back to your profile and decide, oh, I might want to follow them. Another thing, of course, is those just general holiday announcements. So, of course, saying something like happy holidays, things like that. And then you have something called engagement post, which might be like a question, a poll, something that causes your reader to have to respond. And that's kind of where you want to start heading in that direction, because People, what they are looking for in social media is community. They're not looking necessarily to buy things, but if they feel like they're part of this community that you've created on your page, then they're more likely to buy because, of course, they now know a little bit more about you, and they also feel more connected to you because, of course, with these engagement posts, they're finding more people who are still in the same category as them. So, with that in mind, you can continue to fill this out as well, with like the important days you want to highlight or what days of the week work best for you. So, for example, if your business is open mostly Wednesday through Saturday, you might decide, I don't want to work and post. So I'm going to post Sunday through Tuesday or Sunday through Wednesday. And those are going to be my posting days. That's fine. So choose your 3 days that you want to post a week. If you want to kind of just keep them clumped together, you can choose, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, or you can choose, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, whichever really, like, there is no necessarily right answer. You're basically just trying to find consistency. And that's kind of the key point that any social media person will tell you is it's really important that you are consistent with what you post. So once you've chosen your 3 to 4 days and you've chosen what kind of content you're going to share, you're going to take that to Canva.
Raquel, could I jump in for a second to make
Sure.
a tie-in
Sure.
about engagement and community and important days? I
Sure.
know that right now in our community that it's like weird times, no events. But if we're talking about something that wasn't December 2020, you might want to mark days like Arts Crawl or Downtown Night Out or Intertribal Ceremonial and think about how to post around those type of things that are happening in our own community too, because those kind of tie everything you just mentioned together.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Yeah, so especially specifically for you guys, definitely anytime that you see that your community is having an event, always jump on that boat because whatever, it's basically free advertising for you and you want to be able to be attached to whatever they're doing as well. So, the nice thing about Canva is that you can make this scheduling super duper easy for yourself. And so what you would do is you're going to click on this top right corner. It has a little plus, and you can create however many days you would post in a week. So let's start simple. Let's start with 3 days a week. And we're going to choose three those three categories. So I definitely think that about me is super duper important. Businesses should always make sure that they humanize themselves. So that would be one. A second one would be your items or your wares or your business, whatever it is that you have, you always want to remind your audience like, hey, this is what we have. And then a third thing that you could have there would be quotes, just to keep it very, very basic. And the nice thing about quotes is that you can find them online pretty quick. You could just Google, quotes about the holidays, quotes about family, quotes about, anything that just really speaks to you. And chances are it'll probably speak to other people as well. And it'll start getting that sharing going, which is what you want to increase your engagement. And then you can just start looking through and choose any of the templates they have. And they have so many. So really you can choose from any that you see. Um, and so what you would want to do is just choose three to start. Um, they have a lot of grouped ones that look kind of like they follow a theme, which is kind of helpful. But if you're just looking for different things, that's fine. So here's one that has a very quote look. You would just choose it. Um, for your wares, you want something with like a big picture so that to be able to show pictures. And then the about you might just be something that gives enough space for you to have a picture or something. And then you would just, title it. So if you were creating this for next week, for example, you could title it, 12/14 to 12 18 posting schedule, and you'd have it ready to go. And then afterwards, you can copy it and just continue to make your 3 posts every time. So, if you wanted to talk about, something simple about yourself, you can just look up those like about me questions. And so you can even talk about like, well, answer the first question, why did you choose this business? Sometimes it's something as simple as family. Sometimes it's, finding your passion. Sometimes it's, breaking from the grain and trying something new for yourself. So, you can just start with something like that. So, um, it's all about family. And so something that I've posted and shared myself, my dad was also a small business owner. He used to sell VCRs, which is, it kind of, dates me in that millennial space. He used to sell VCRs and DVD players when they were a thing. And he would go take his wares to a flea market. And I know that Gallup used to have a flea market pre-COVID times. And so I would go and spend the day selling wares with him and loading up the truck and unloading it and all of that. And so I saw how much my dad worked so hard as a small business owner. And it's interesting that I kind of found myself in more or less the same situation. And so to me, there's like a very strong tie to that. And I feel like a lot of people again can relate to that, knowing that, well, my family had a small business or something like that. It tells them something about you, and it kind of says, oh, well, this is not just a business, this is a human. And that's kind of what you want. And so the nice thing again is that these are super easy to modify. And so if you wanted to add a picture of yourself, it would be very, very easy. Or if you don't, you don't have to, but because they have pictures available. And so if you just wanted to, add something that just looks very holiday themed, you can add that there and it's done. And you can just change the words again here. The thing to remember with social media is that their goal, the algorithm's goal for any social media platform, is that they want you to stay there longer. And so when somebody sees a picture, if they're just casually scrolling, they're, on a picture, they might stop if it's really amazing, or they might stop if it catches their attention. But the thing that will really make them stop, it's kind of even subconscious. If you see words, you will probably definitely stop to read if they're big enough and they're easy enough to read. And so by having words on your posts, it actually helps people stop, look at it a little bit longer. And if your caption is catchy enough, if there's something there that kind of just ties back in, chances are they're probably going to stop and think about it. And so when we go back to that holiday idea, especially when you're presenting the things that you have right now, you want to think in the concept, of course, everybody's mind is on gifts. So, how can I make this look like an appealing gift post? And so there, like I said, there are so many nice pictures that you can use on Canva. If you're trying to find a nice connecting picture, uh, gifts for her, gifts she will love, um, gifts he will love, gifts for dad, gifts for mom, gifts for your kids, anything like that. People will stop because, of course, not everybody's done Christmas shopping, or holiday shopping. And even if they're done, chances are, if they see something that they know their loved one will love enough, chances are they're more willing to go and check it out, see the prices. And that's good stuff for you too. And
And
so even
Raquel,
with,
they can
yes,
upload their own images to
yes,
into these posts as well, right? If you did
yes,
have like great photos of your products at your store.
for sure. And so I'll do a quick show of that. I don't, hopefully nothing. So if you click on uploads, and usually device, because that's like where your pictures are, you can go to where your pictures are in your computer or on your phone, it doesn't matter, either or. And you can just click on a click on one of your pictures, upload them. And again, it's super duper easy. Thank you, Kara, for pointing that out. You just drag it, post it, position it how you'd like to position it. And now you can show exactly what you're selling to people, which is really, really great. And then with those quotes, especially again, if you're thinking of it in the context of holidays, you can choose holiday quotes. And again, this is something that you can do relatively quickly and easily. You can just type in holiday quotes and go to the first place that shows up. You know, find one that you like. I'm just choosing the first one for example's sake. Copy it, paste it, you know, change whatever you'd like to make it look more Christmassy or more holiday themed. And there you go. You have a holiday post. And the nice thing again is you can add things to make it look more holiday themed. There's just so much you can do on Canva, and it's really, really great. So if you know, I would say if you can spend, even if you spend like 20 or 30 minutes just kind of checking it out, it'll be really, really helpful for your small business for sure. So that's kind of for scheduling what it would look like. The nice thing is if you have, of course, colors that you like to use or colors that are in your business, then you can kind of make them more specific. But that's, you know, along the way, if you get into the habit, again, this is something you can recreate every week. And every week, you know, you can have about yourself, you can have posting the things you're selling, and then have that quote. And it's, you know, it's something you can depend on, something that you can repeat. And that's kind of the big thing to help avoid like social media burnout, which is very real. So moving on.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
So does Canva post, like, is it actually posting them for you, or is there some sort of way you can like schedule them?
So that's a fantastic question. You cannot do it on Canva,
Okay.
but you can, or actually, I think you can now.
I think you can use that Facebook business suite, but I haven't figured that out either.
Yeah. So it says you can share to a Facebook page. Let me just kind of, so I guess if you connect it, let me just, let's find out together. Yeah, so I guess you can. You'd have to probably spend a little bit more time going through it.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like you can directly, though you can't schedule. And I'll actually show you that right now. There's a free way to schedule, and my motto for life is if it's free, it's better, especially when you're a small business. You don't want to spend more necessarily. So Facebook actually comes with am I sharing? I'm not sharing. Facebook actually comes with a free scheduling tool. So when you're on your page, you have this toolbar on the far left-hand corner. There's something called on the left-hand publishing tools. You would click on that. Now, if you click on it, you actually have access right off the bat to being able to schedule posts from here. Personally, I find this page to be a little bit more complicated. Then if you keep going though, if you look under tools, there's a place called Creator Studio. And if you click on Creator Studio, now you have access to your library, which shows you what you have scheduled. And it gives you access to Instagram as well, which is even more amazing because you can schedule to Instagram for free. So you have the icon right here for Facebook. You have the icon right here for Instagram. those are some of my clients, but you can basically post everything from your computer in one fell swoop. So once you get into the habit of doing this, it basically takes you maybe 30 minutes to post for the whole week, and then you don't have to deal with it anymore, which is really great. So for example, just to kind of show what that would look like, you just click create post, and it looks very much like when you're posting normally. And, just for example's sake.
And Raquel, just to connect the dots, essentially you would take what you created in Canva, download those images, and then you come over here and schedule them.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so if you're using both, then that's really great. If you spend some time kind of going into Canva, I guess you can post directly from Canva. I haven't messed around with that yet. This is basically my process when I'm scheduling posts for clients. I will download them, and they usually, if you look on this, I don't know if it shows actually, on my I can share the whole desktop. Usually when you download I think I still shared, just sorry. When you download more than one on Canva, it downloads as a zip file. And so you have to extract them when you're doing the zip file. So, I mean, usually like most computers, they just automatically extract it for you. And so you'll have all of them just set and ready for you. And then that's when you can access them and upload them to your page. So, you can just give your small caption, and then you can share by clicking schedule. You choose the days that you decided on your calendar. If you decided Sunday for Small Business Sunday, 6 o'clock is just a good rule of thumb time. It's not always the best for everybody, but overall, it's more or less about the best. So you click schedule, and then I'm not going to click it because it's just an example, but then you could just schedule your post. And so you could schedule your 3 posts by doing that. Does that help? Okay. So that's kind of the first part that I had for you guys. There's a second page that I kind of attached here too for the handout. So this is kind of what I was talking about again with one of the posts. Choose a couple of items to showcase. Take advantage of websites like Canva, like we've talked about. They have, like I said, so many templates for creating ads. Chances are you'll be able to find at least one that just works really well for you. And then you can also pay to boost ads as well. And so if you have something that for sure, I really want to, promote this one thing, then you can start talking about that. And so on this sheet gives you a chance to ask and brainstorm, what items can you offer for a sale? And so the good way to think about that is, what items sell really, really well, and how can you turn that into a sale? And so even if it's a small sale, like something that, is, free wrapping, or, take a free gift bag, or something that basically just motivates people to, to just go check out. Of course, with lockdown, it makes it harder for a lot more people to get to places. But if you're constantly showing items that, have done really well in the past, then you can use this to do that. And so, for, if it was for what we do here for the holiday gift guide, things that we've wanted to spotlight was like specific business offers. We've wanted to highlight a craft that Gallup Arts helped us with. We want to highlight what we created, which is called, we created a passport. so that people could be, again, motivated to go in and shop downtown as well. So that, and those are things that we've tried to spotlight as we've been promoting the holiday gift guide. And so these are different for everybody. You want to decide for your own business, okay, well, what sells well? What would I like to sell more? And, even try pairing those things on. The last thing you want to focus on is staying active online, which is, again, it's it's easy to say, it's hard to really accomplish. It can be very stressful at times. Like I said, one of the biggest things that I see with small businesses is social media burnout, just because it is a lot of work, and running a small business in and of itself is a lot of work. And then adding on top of that, trying to do all these posts and things, it's a lot. And so the scheduling will definitely be a huge help with that. Other things that you can do to kind of just show your audience that you are there. Facebook also has stories. You can actually use the exact same graphic that you used from Canva and add it there as well. I haven't seen that they're as popular as Instagram stories, but it is another place to put things. And if the name of the game is trying to reach as many people as possible, then that's definitely one place to go. Doing Facebook Live in your shop allows, especially if you announce it, allows your audience to know, hey, I can kind of online shop, even if you don't have an online shop set up yet. And so you can announce, 2 or 3 days in advance, I'm going to do a live of different things that we have in our store, and, just show people around. And of course, you just have your posts, which hopefully is just the stuff that you've been scheduling. For Instagram, they actually have a lot of options for interactive stories, and you want to take advantage of that. Again, your goal has to be the same goal as social media. And so if you're playing the same game that social media algorithms play, which is think about how can I make people stay online longer, then you also are doing the exact same thing with the interactive stories. So usually on stories, you have things like polls, you have this or that questions, you have just general questions. Any of those things basically make people come to your page for more than just your business. And so that's kind of the mentality that you always want to keep in mind. How do I have people come to my page for more than just the business? So once you create that community, that online community, you're able to have more people coming in for your business as well. Of course, the posts is a lot of the same with the Facebook. It's just scheduling, and that's the same stuff that you can post from Facebook and Instagram. The good thing about Facebook and Instagram is that you have completely different audiences on both platforms. And so usually you have an older audience on Facebook, usually have an younger audience on Instagram. And so even if you're making the same post, for now, it's still good because, again, reachability, chances of somebody seeing it, wanting it, talking about it. And you can do exactly the same thing on Facebook as Instagram as well with the live. Just show your wares, come on there, talk a little bit about yourself, even, reach out to your community, just talk about the day-to-day. All of those things help. So this question isn't necessarily like for you to finish and like repeat the same from the top, but mostly to think about for yourself, what can you definitely see yourself doing to stay active? And so, if you're a little bit camera shy, which I mean, a little bit, I guess, on the ironic side, since I do so much of these presentations, I am still a little camera shy. So I personally don't like doing Facebook Live, but I will definitely do a post any day. And so I can see myself doing 3 posts a week. I can make that my part of my goal. Okay, if that's your starting point, then what else can you commit to doing? I'm going to commit to 1 Facebook story a week. And I'm going to commit to one interactive Facebook post or one interactive Insta story a week. You want to make your goal something that you can definitely accomplish again, because you want to be able to get into the habit of it rather than feeling overwhelmed by it. And so that is kind of more or less basically it. If you have other questions, of course, I'm more than happy to show you some other tips and tricks. Um,
I thought, Raquel, I thought, we might have some questions, but I have a few thoughts and maybe questions
sure.
in just kind of thinking about activity online and kind of strategy and burnout and what's important. And then kind of go back to what I mentioned about the community events and appearing tied to your community and always jumping on board. I think the same thing goes for activity. I think liking other local businesses posts, commenting on them looks great, or
Yeah.
co-promotion of
Yeah.
folks. I'll speak for the downtown district here, so just downtown, it goes a really long way. It builds community and it shows camaraderie, and it promotes it, like it double promotes you. So if I'm on Maria's Restaurant's Facebook page, but I see that Makeshift Gallery grabbed lunch there today, I just think that's cool. I'm like, oh man, that's right. I need to go down and check out Makeshift Gallery. There's just a lot of different ways that creates a like productive network of activity.
Yeah.
So it's not, you want to be there to promote yourself, and you want to like really work on your brand and your sales, but at the same time, this like kind of, it's not bad to also promote other people or to kind of interact with other folks downtown. In fact, it's typically really beneficial.
I would definitely agree with that, especially because, you're all on the same boat. It's definitely not community over competition, because most of the businesses, I would say, in downtown are not stepping on each other's feet, so to speak. All of them have definitely very unique things to offer that are very different, which is great. And that gives you the chance to definitely work on things together. And so if you said, hey, let's do an event where we say, hey, come pick up a coffee and check out, some of the new stuff at Makeshift, and they're pretty close to each other. It helps people to even think of that in proximity, like, oh, I can make an event of it. I can go grab a coffee with my friend and we can go check out the gallery and it'll be really fun. And so definitely, finding ways to do things with other small businesses in the community is a really great way to help each other, and liking each other's posts, commenting on each other's posts, saving each other's posts. If you're helping each other's algorithm grow, it definitely is mutually beneficial for sure.
And what are something that's happening right now, right, with the holidays is a lack of in-person traffic. So what are some ways or strategies that I know you've mentioned, um, that are on your radar for not just promoting, but yeah, like selling your wares? I like the in-store video idea. I've seen other communities in New Mexico and other stores do this. And you essentially create an in-store event, but you're just using you and your camera and your like Facebook Live, and you're essentially selling in the comments.
Yeah.
People are saying, "Hey, I want to buy that on Facebook," and you're just like, you're using Facebook as like your selling platform. But are there other tips and tricks or strategies you've seen for the time, which is
Well,
typically, of course, a busy holiday shopping season, but
for sure. And I mean, I guess the things that you can do, especially because social media it's not limited to Gallup. You can even post on every post, put something on there that says, willing to ship. You can put the prices down and say, because of course, a lot of places or a lot of people actually use their accounts themselves. They don't have an actual physical building. And so they just use the account to sell stuff. And so they, you could say, you can pick this up right now, shipping available, things like that. That could help grow your business. And of course, always posting to say things like, we offer curbside pickup and things like that could also help as well.
what is thinking about growing audiences during this time when you can't really rely on street traffic so much, what are some of your strategies for growing audience? And I have two, like, what is the value in following people, and what should people's strategy be for like your business account following other people? And two, what should people's like kind of super simple baseline strategy for paid promotion of their social media posts be?
So I think a really good way to look at following people is to follow people that are in your same category, or as it's better known as niche. And so if you are, for example, a coffee shop, following other coffee shops and engaging with them basically places you in a niche where your explore page, and this is more specific to Instagram because their algorithm is very, very interesting that way. Um, you'll show up more on the explore page because it'll label you now like as that thing. So if, for example, you run like a small boutique, then you would start following other places that have that same style of gifts and things, and you would follow them and comment on their stuff. And again, you would be able to start seeing your stuff will start showing up on other people's explore page more as well. Your second question, sorry.
About paying for promotion of posts.
Okay, so it kind of ties back into your little calendar. If on your calendar you notice, okay, I really want to run this really good, last ditch effort to sell stuff right before Christmas Day. So I'm going to create, a 4-part series where I'm posting about kind of in the same category of things all through this week. And so I'm going to pay for promotion on this day with stuff that has like my actual sales, price things, the more general information that people need to know. And then I'm going to keep posting about stuff in regards to it all these other days. And so people who were able to enter my foot traffic through the promotion will now see stuff the following days because now they saw the first post. And so that's one really good way to kind of do a promotion, is to kind of lead in with it and then follow with your organic posts.
And paying for promotion essentially just gets you guaranteed eyes on your posts. And you can set that regionally, or you can really dig in and do it via interest, just people interested in art, or you can be like people in Flagstaff and Albuquerque. And so it's actually a really nice tool. I mean, I think essentially Facebook has become a pay to play platform to some extent.
Yeah.
With getting your posts out there and growing your reach. And even as a small nonprofit, all of we like everything we do, we have to put money into even if it's a few dollars, even if it's $5,
Yeah.
into promoting a workshop or a program, because otherwise we won't be able to get it in front of people. So I think identifying a small budget
Yeah.
for that would be really great, and just start small and just do $5 and do it in our 30-mile radius, or
Yeah.
say you want to target people coming from Albuquerque or somewhere. But I mean, Raquel, do you regularly think that's good practice?
I would say if you're working your calendar around um the paid promotions, that makes a lot of sense. You don't want to do them so often that you're kind of overwhelming people. And that's kind of the big thing. Um, you always want to start first with being a human and then being a business. And so when you are sharing yourself, you want to get to the point where you've done that enough before you start like just rolling through with all the stuff that you're selling as well. But definitely like using them around major events. So, New Year's, the Super Bowl, anything that people like associate, you want to be part of that association. And so if your promotions run with anything major going on in current events locally, like you said, especially in the community when there are events available, that's where you want to tie everything into that. Things that people like are like, oh yeah, this is this time and this business is doing this for this time, and run your promotions for that.
Kara, have you seen any way to like load money into Facebook and like store it there?
That's a good question. I think you can do that, but I can't say for sure. So you'd basically be like,
Well, I have to have
say you happen to have some grant money and you need to use it for a certain purpose. Raquel, do you know?
I
Um,
we chatted about it
yeah.
yesterday. I haven't had a chance to dig. I just didn't know if you, with your experience, if you had,
I don't
you
think
know.
I've ever
Okay.
front loaded, but I will tell you a trick. You could, I think you can, if you run an ad for a certain amount and cancel it, I think that credit goes into your account. There's
Right.
something called a Facebook pixel. I don't know. Let's circle back to that. I think that there's definitely a way.
Yeah. I've seen, yeah, I could like run $1,000
Yeah.
ad and then cancel it and see what happens.
Well, let me double check because I mean, I'm sure they've already thought of that. And especially with like, especially when you're in a bigger organization and you have a marketing budget and it's end of year,
Right.
this should be an easy answer.
Yes. I'll keep playing with it. I just, yeah, between teaching and everything this week, I'm like multitasking to the max. So
But yeah, that's an excellent question, especially for end of year budgeting or for these CARES opportunities or other
yeah.
opportunities, funding opportunities that come up. And you really need to sink money into online efforts. Uh, great question. Melanie, any other questions that you have?
Well, I asked her, Raquel and I met yesterday, so I like tried to pick her brain a little bit then. But I like the idea, like I never schedule things ahead of time, and I think that would help me with like that burnout feeling. Like I kind of just post when I have energy to post, and sometimes that's like 5 days in a row I'm feeling really good or I have pictures. And then other times it's like very overwhelming and I can't deal with it right now. So I think that if I even sat down once a month
Yeah.
and even like went into the gallery, took a bunch of pictures and like scheduled it all out, I think if I spent 2 hours on a Saturday, I could have the whole month done. And I think that's a good way to think about it. So
I used to run social media for an art institution, and that was a lifesaver. Being able to schedule, and you always think of things on the fly that you can insert in there, but
yeah,
having that scheduled out and knowing that that work is happening for you in the background is so nice.
yeah.
But that does bring up a question for Raquel too, just or to for something that a topic we can maybe discuss a little bit for folks is, you know, a lot of people don't have images. So Raquel, what is your thought on especially using something like Canva? If I don't have, if I haven't taken a ton of photos of my product, let's say, which my product will be pencils, can I just use some stock photography on Canva of pencils? Does that do the same thing, or kind of what's the balance there in the
So
strategy?
if it's, I think it has to do with like make sure you're not misrepresenting your product is probably the biggest thing on that end. You know, if you're selling Ticonderoga pencils, but you show a completely different kind of pencil, then that's kind of a problem for anybody who's looking at stuff. But overall, if you're kind of just giving the idea of things, the notion, I think that's perfectly fine. In fact, I'd say rather do that than not be able to post at all or choose words. I mean, sometimes, like I said, words often, for whatever reason, social media likes words right now. So, uh, choose words instead. Go with the clip art that's available instead to show that, and put pricing or something up instead. And I think that will work just the same.
And last tidbit would be how there are how many, about 20 at least, businesses featured in our holiday gift guide. How can people use social media and the gift guide together, or how should that be? How, I'm a business owner and I'm in the gift guide, what should I be doing?
So that's a fantastic question. I'm going to pull up our social media account right now to kind of show a little bit of that. Where is this? So on our page, what we've been doing for the holiday gift guide is that we've been posting, spotlighting different businesses that actually turned in different wares that they were interested in showcasing. And so what we've been doing is we've been tagging the businesses that have turned in stuff. And so there's free promotion for them. And then what that means that they can do in turn is they can actually share to their feed this same post that's already created for them. So, if you're not feeling like creating that post for yourself, it's already ready to go. And kind of like we talked about with that same community effort, if you see that it's not your business's turn, you can comment and say, wow, that's a great gift, or this is such a good idea, or anything that basically does not look like a generic comment. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for supporting local business. Anything that basically engages with these businesses is a really great idea. And so sharing them is really great. Sharing the passport is really great. We kind of showcased a little bit of it on this post, kind of showing what it looks like. So doing something like that of your own, sharing this particular post or sharing other posts that basically show what it's about is definitely something that you can do as well. Or even sharing pictures of the journey, which have the same content that we created on the gift guide is in the journey as well in print copy. And so having those available is also a really good idea.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks. That was really great. And I think, just kind of exploring Canva and scheduling alone is something like very valuable, but thinking about the holidays and calendaring. So with the handout was really useful. And so lots of good stuff here. And I think to wrap it up, I mean, as small businesses in the Gallup Main Street district, you always have access to us with your questions about social media. And especially if you're feeling really stuck and have questions about it, you can schedule a meeting with us and we can actually go over it. And as I mentioned, we did record this webinar, so you can revisit it and we'll share the handout as well. But thanks to those who joined, and thank you so much, Raquel, for working with us, but also for leading this really cool workshop.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right, great. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.